One of the most unrealistic things about Naruto is that almost every main character gets married to their first crush or to someone they met like when they were 12. As far as I know, this is kind of a rare occurrence in real life. And I know this is done because people want to see the characters getting with characters they actually know for a while because it's more emotionally investing and I have no issues with that. But this leads to something else, another oddity in the Naruto universe, which is that almost every single couple in Naruto/Boruto, both partners have the same age, or at least very close, less than a year difference in most cases. And that's not just for the new generation, the generation that got introduced in Naruto Part 1, no, that's for older characters as well, for example Asuma and Kurenai, Minato and Kushina, so on and so forth. Most of the characters met during the academy day, so they would be about the same age. I thought it would be interesting to bring up some couples that have more than 1 year of an age difference between them, and some may actually quite surprise you. But before that, make sure you're subscribed to this channel and like this video to help me out, especially if you enjoy content like this and more Naruto content, thank you. The first one I'm gonna talk about, it's not really that much of an age gap, it's Ino and Sai. Sai is 1 year older than Ino, a little bit more than that, but that's really normal. I mean, no one really bats an eye to that age difference, it's just that Sai graduated from the academy when he was 9 years old, he became a Chunin when he was 10, and then he entered into the route Anbu, so he didn't really meet anyone in his life that was from the Konoha 11 before Shippuden, and so that's one of the reasons why he's a bit older than Ino, because he met her outside of the academy environment. The next couple may actually surprise you a lot. It is Shikamaru and Temari. Up until very recently, I've always assumed that Temari was like 1 year older than Shikamaru and that's it. But no, she is 3 years older than Shikamaru, which is kind of bananas if you think about it. When they met in the Chunin exams, Temari was 15 years old and Shikamaru was 12 when they fought. So Shikamaru actually fought someone 3 years older than him, which is a pretty interesting feat. Temari is actually the oldest sibling in the Sand. She's 1 year older than Kankuro and 3 years older than Gaara, just like she is 3 years older than Shikamaru. In the end of Shippuden, when Temari saves Shikamaru, Temari is 16 and Shikamaru is 13. And we can kind of see that Temari was already into Shikamaru a little bit in part 1. It was definitely set up for that. Temari's she likes the young blood, I guess, because I don't really see something like that very often, a 16-year-old girl being attracted to a 13-year-old boy. In Shippuden, when we first meet them, Shikamaru is 16 and Temari is 19, and at the end of Shippuden, Shikamaru is 17 and Temari is 20, so she's pretty old, and Shikamaru's like a teenager still, which is pretty interesting, and they still get together. Shikamaru is just a mad lad, and that's a pretty interesting feat, probably his best feat in the entire series, maybe even better than defeating Hidan and all that. I guess that also speaks volumes about Shikamaru's intelligence and just how mature he is, because let's be real, girls mature much quicker than guys in general, and because of that, they usually look for older guys. So not only Temari is dating a guy 3 years younger than her, but that kind of fits, he is a genius, he should be smarter than his age, and Temari definitely likes that about him. She's blushing during the arc when those sand girls talk about Shikamaru and all that, and she's like, oh, Shikamaru, he's so smart. Tsunade and Dan are another example. Dan was 3 years older than Tsunade, and their age gap makes sense because they just met after they became adults. They didn't meet when they were kids, so it's not like most cases either. On the subject of parents, another couple of parents that have a little bit of an age gap, but not as much, are Shikamaru's parents. Shikaku, his dad, was 38 in part 1, and his mom, Yoshino Nara, that's actually her name, I looked it up, was 36. So they have a 2-year difference, which isn't that much, but it's notable. Hayate, the guy who got killed by Baki and was the proctor of the preliminary Chunin exams, was 23, and his girlfriend, whose named is Yugao Uzuki. That purple-haired girl was 22, so they had a 1-year gap. And this one is just a hypothetical, but it's a very likely scenario, I believe, and a lot of people ship those characters, even though I think it's kind of weird, which are Himawari and Kawaki. Now, of course, this relationship would happen after the time skip after they're older, but in the current Boruto era, Kawaki is 14 and Himawari is 10. And to be honest, I thought Himawari was younger than that. I thought she was like 7, but I guess she's 10. So if they ever get together, they'll have a 4-year gap. You know, hopefully that happens later on. They're not gonna do anything weird, I'm pretty sure about that, but still. Hiruzen and his wife had a 1-year gap as well. Hiruzen was 1 year older than her. Hiruzen's wife's name was Biwako. She appeared just very briefly in the flashback of Kurama's attack on Konoha, and she died there. So yeah, we didn't see much from her, but Hiruzen was 1 year older than her, which isn't that much at the age they were, because when Biwako died in the flashback, she was 55 and Hiruzen was 56. Hiruzen then died in part 1 when he was 69.
Nice.
Another surprising couple with a large age gap is Mikoto Uchiha and Fugaku Uchiha, Itachi and Sasuke's parents. Fugaku is 40 years old at the time of his death, and Mikoto was 35, which means they had a 5-year difference. Not something we would see every day in Naruto. Of course, it didn't look like that because they were already much older than Shikamaru and Temari, for instance, but a 5-year-old gap when you're 18 is something very criminal. Fugaku, being the Uchiha clan leader, probably chose someone younger because, you know, he's a pretty smart guy. He would go with younger blood most likely and all that. We don't really know when they got married, but hopefully after Mikoto was 18. But that's by no means the couple with the biggest age gap. No. Well, I think you probably know where I'm going with this, but Kaguya and Tenchi, well, Tenchi is this human male. He is, what, 20-something, maybe 30-something, if you highball it. But definitely a male in his younger years. And Kaguya is an Otsutsuki that's 1,000 or so years old. That's a big age gap, if you ask me. Who cares about Kaguya? She's not even canon anyway. But it's funny if you think about it. Hagoromo's dad, the dad of the Sage of Six Paths, was weaker than Iruka, man. That's an interesting thing about the Naruto-verse. But boy, was he horny, wasn't he? Sheesh! I guess you could also include the 4th Raikage and Hinata here. They have about a 30-year gap. I don't know if you subscribe to that fan theory though. It's up to debate if that's actually a real thing or not. But leave it in the comments which couple surprised you the most. Like and subscribe to this channel to help me out, and thanks for watching.